Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and I'm joined by Mr. Xeon.
Whoa! It is me. I'm a person.
He's a person. He only sounds like a robot to us for some reason in Discord right now. We've also got Mr. Felix.
Hello, I'm also a person, and I'm not sounding like a robot because, yes.
Because that's life. Anyway, we've just watched a bloomin' Indie World Showcase, haven't we? And it featured some games, so we're going to tell you what we think of those games. That's how it do on the Nintendo Life channel.
Yeah, this presentation was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fine, wasn't it? That was about it. But maybe we'll save our opinions for maybe when we've gone through. Maybe there was a gem that we'd forgotten about. We started off, the first thing we saw, we're going to go through in chronological order as we always do. The first thing we saw was Ooblets, which was as sort of a farm simulation type thing with these sort of virtual pets. It's, 50% Tamagotchi, 50% Stardew Valley. What did you guys think of it?
I thought it looked a lot like Pikmin and Animal Crossing had a baby. And I don't know, I really like the art style. It reminded me a bit of Bugsnax. Yeah, I like what I saw. I'm intrigued to try it out, maybe in the future.
Yeah, this is one of those games that's been like in development for many years, and I suppose like that's just a fair thing to say about indies because they're often not made by lots of people, so that they take some time. But I guess for me, like, this is a game that I've seen like at events before and seen in other presentations, and I actually like Felix and I watched this together beforehand, and I was like, "Isn't this game out already?"
You also said that you thought the art style was different than last time you saw it.
Well, I thought it wasn't the art style. I thought the gameplay was like heavily different. I didn't remember it being so focused on like having the home that you could decorate. Like, it really did feel a lot like Animal Crossing, and I went back and watched some trailers, and it looks like it stayed very true to itself. I was just completely wrong on that.
Okay.
But it looks like a quality game. I don't think it's really for me necessarily, but I'm glad to see that it's like finally nearing the end of development, because it looks like there's so much going on.
Yeah,
in this one.
I think it looks all right. I mean, I think I'm a bit like you, Xeon. Sort of, there's nothing wrong with it as far as I feel. It looks fine. It looks like good fun, but I'm just not sure how much it's, really appeals to me directly.
I must say, I think I'm on the same page as you guys.
Yeah, it looks fine. I imagine it's going to appeal to some people a lot more than it appeals to us, and that can, that's a good thing. It looks like it's deserving of that, but yeah, it looks alright, just not really pushing my buttons. Next up, we had Batora Lost Haven, which sort of a story-driven action sort of game, sort of top-down game. It looks alright. It looks a bit soft in places resolution-wise.
Oh yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah.
I don't know. It's just not really doing it for me. I don't know whether it's me. Am I the problem?
No, I completely agree. It reminded me a bit of Hades, just like the perspective. I don't know.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think it looked like a game for me. Again, there is some games later on that I thought looked really cool, but
yeah, I didn't really have nothing other than the fact that you're right, Alex. Like, it looked like they were really using actual Switch footage in this trailer, which I really respected. But yeah, because I did notice too that like it looked a little blurry. But otherwise, that was really the only takeaway for me from that one, sadly. But like Felix said, though, too, there are other things that I was fairly excited about, just not that one.
Yeah, we're only 2 games in, so let's not draw any conclusions just yet. Then the stream desynced. The audio and the video just stopped being properly aligned.
Yeah.
I have a small theory about this, which I will cover very quickly, because I feared this would happen. This happened in test streams that I ran for the Indie Spotlight that we ran not that long ago, and that very thing happened, and I was absolutely terrified it was going to happen, but it didn't, thankfully. So maybe I imagine it's just a software thing. But that was interesting.
Goodness.
Did make watching the rest of it kind of irritating.
Yeah, it looked like it was just like dubbed over for the most part.
But the next game, I actually really quite like the look of.
Yeah.
It's Elechead, sort of a pixel art style, very low sort of like color palette in terms of sheer numbers at the very least. lots of dithering effects and things like that. Puzzle platformer coming out in the summer. I thought it looked pretty damn good.
It looks excellent.
Good one. Good job. Good job.
This game I actually also really like. It looks very, very simple, but it looks like there's some interesting puzzle mechanics that it just intrigued me. Artistically, I normally really like pixel art. This one is like, there's not a lot of colors and stuff. Maybe it doesn't look that interesting, but it looks like it could be a fun time.
I like the fact that it looks like it really could run potentially on the NES too. Like the color palettes it wasn't like a Shovel Knight thing where it was, using like the style of the NES, but like, using a much larger palette. And so yeah, I wonder if it's a very minor thing, but I wonder if they'll ever like, oh, we're gonna make an NES cartridge because that would be fun. Please do that.
Well, I think the resolution's too high for the NES if I'm going to be really pedantic about it.
That's fair. I mean, they could drop it, but yeah, maybe it was too. Was it too many pixels? Do you think? Is that what you mean?
That's what I mean by too high a resolution.
I suppose in that regard.
This is a SNES game.
I should go back and
even
look
the SNES, I think, was the same resolution as the NES. Maybe not. I'm probably talking nonsense now, but yeah, I like the look of that. Moving on, we had can I just say, this game, irregardless, that's a redundant word, regardless of the quality of the game, the title, just like graphic, really annoyed me. I couldn't work out exactly what it was supposed to be until it came up with the text on screen. It's Soundfall. I've never seen a treble clef used as an O, and I hope not to again. But the game itself, I don't know about anyone else. It's a sort of a top-down looter-shooter kind of game, and you sort of do all your movements to the rhythm. It reminded me a lot of Cadence of Hyrule, and that ain't a bad thing.
Sion also said that when we watched it, and I'm a big fan of rhythm games, so this looked really good. I think that was a bit weird was the UI, when you went into the menus, it just looked very generic in a sense, and I thought, okay, there's still some time before the game comes out, but it comes out, was it today?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shadow drop today.
Yeah, so I was like, the UI and stuff doesn't look too great, but the other part looked fantastic. I really liked how this looked. Again, I'm a big fan of rhythm games, so this could be fun. It's also co-op, which I don't know how that will work. Like, do you need to have like a really good connection and stuff? But I'm excited.
I guess the thing I didn't really understand either was like how the rhythm really like plays into the game. If it's like if you time your shots, because like Cadence of Hyrule would do the thing where, and even Crypt of the Necrodancer, where you would walk around and that would, like whenever you would walk, that would even like kind of affect, or you could only move to the beat of the music or something. I don't remember exactly, but this felt a bit more loose than that, I guess. And so I just don't really know how the music plays in.
I think it's from actions, from what I can tell from the trailer. Well, the stuff that they showed.
Sure.
It's actions, but not including movement. Movement appears to be independent. I can't say for that with, absolute certainty because I haven't played the game, but that's the flavor that I'm getting. The next game, Felix, what is it?
It's like a deck builder game. It's called Wild Frost, and I really like. This was like one of my favorite games of the Indie World Showcase. I recently played The Witcher, and there's Gwent, and it's like a deck builder game. I don't know. It's something about. I think this is single player. I couldn't really tell. Like, it looks single player to me, but they didn't like specify that, I think.
I'm pretty sure it's single player, yeah, just judging from the look of it.
Well, in that case, I didn't want this to be a multiplayer. This looks like a really good single player game.
You don't want to play with anyone else.
Like, because when it's like a single player, they can like craft a really good experience. Like, you get this card and then you like get to use it against this battle, which is like designed for that. And also just the art style looks phenomenal. I love how this game's look.
It reminds me in style and in gameplay of an Adventure Time game that was released on mobile called Card Wars.
Sure.
It did look a bit Adventure Time. Yeah, I thought that also watching that, but I don't know. This game just really intrigues me, and I'm excited to see if it's any fun.
You want it to be fun.
Yeah, I want it to be fun.
And the Switch is really good for card games too. I played a few different ones on here, and it's just having that big tablet is really nice. So please have touch controls, please.
Yes.
It would be a shame if it didn't have touch controls,
Right.
wouldn't it?
I'm always
it's coming out in
surprised.
Q4. They've got enough time to slap it in.
Good. Make it happen.
Moving on, we had this was a bit of a surprise. Probably, as far as I know, the best known game that they featured. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator is coming to Switch, and that was a surprise for me because it's just one of those games where, you know, I know it's not like the most heavy game, but, you know, sort of you can do a lot of stuff and you can really push CPUs with it from what little I understand of the game. So to see it coming to the Switch is quite impressive. And it also appears to be running at 60 frames a second. That's the footage that they showed, but who knows? Maybe it's just very well optimized.
Yeah, it looked really smooth for what it was, but before this trailer, I had no idea what the series was. But Felix was much more aware of it than I, right?
Well, I didn't actually know the battle simulator, but I knew a game called Totally Accurate Battlegrounds, which was like the same art style, but it was just like Fortnite or PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. It was just that, but with this art style, really like simplistic in a way. I don't know this game specifically, but it seems you, Alex, could tell us a bit about it, because it seems like it's like a battle simulator, but we didn't really know. Is it a single-player game where you're just like I don't really know what it's about?
I mean, yeah, it's primarily a single-player game. They did mention that you can do online multiplayer in the indie world, which was pretty interesting because I didn't know that was a thing. The same with like creating your own characters. Well, characters, they're called wobblers. Basically, yeah, I suppose the best way to describe it would be sort of a puzzle game come sandbox. You know, you can just you can go through like these missions where you have to take out these opponents, you know, and you've got a certain number of points that you can use to buy various different units. And you could buy, you know, sort of a few powerful units or lots of weaker units, and, you know, some are better in different situations, and you have to try and work out what is going to be the best.
Yeah.
There is an element of chance in it as well, but yeah, I've never actually played the game, but I've seen a fair bit of it, and I really like the look of it. Next up, we had, this was a surprise, Gunbrella, which is a title I will just love until I die.
I love the name.
They didn't reveal what it was called at first. They just showed this.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's using a gun. Sometimes it's an umbrella. What is it? Gunbrella.
I must say I really like it.
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
Side-scrolling, shooty, rooty-tooty stuff. Yeah, I just think it looks like great fun. Made by the same people who made Gato Roboto, which was a spicy little number. Maybe a Metroidvania, hard to tell, but I like the look of it. I like the look of it a lot.
Yeah, me too. I also told C on this. I felt it like it just looks a bit similar to, you know, Celeste and stuff like that, and I love just pixel art style, and this looks like one of the better ones. So I'm excited to see like what type of game, like gameplay wise, this game is, because it's getting me a lot of different vibes. So yeah, again, the name is just brilliant. Gunbrella, it just gets stuck in your head. So very good name.
It does just look really fun to play. Like a game has to have an art style very often that I just, you know, fall in love with. And for me, like, this one didn't really do that, but like the gameplay really just does look so smooth and satisfying. It looks like there's a lot of crazy things you can pull off. So
yeah, I love the look of it. I think it just looks like really, really good fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's got to be, no doubt somebody has already gone to the comments to say this. It's got to be inspired by Splatoon. Splatoon 2
right.
specifically, because
Oh my gosh.
there is a weapon, the Splatbrella,
Oh.
which is an umbrella that's also a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, it must be inspired. Either that or it's a wholly, you know, sort of just a whole coincidence. It's possible it is. Maybe they were making the game, they came up with the idea, and Splatoon 2, you know, revealed the Splatbrella, and they went, damn it. You know, it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
But moving on, we had a narrative-driven game this time. It was We Are OFK. It does nothing for me, I'm afraid. I've not got a problem with the game, but it just looks like it would not hold my
Same.
attention.
And I think also for Sion, like we both like unanimously agreed, I think. I won't speak for you.
No. You're right. Like, I think the story, I guess, is really like what didn't hook me. But I think there are going to be like plenty of people out there that like are very, intrigued by this game. And for me, like, definitely, like, it didn't really. But but this might be the kind of game that, if people, once it comes out, if people start, hooting and hollering about how, important the story was or how much they enjoyed it, like, I would maybe give it a look. It's not like it's not in my wheelhouse of games, but it didn't. There's nothing really in the trailer that did it for me, I'll say.
Also, like, I didn't understand what the game was really about. From the trailer. So it was just like, okay, this could be cool, but I'll have to see like what people think. And the art style, it was all right. I mean, it's definitely not something you see every day, but I don't think it does it for me.
Yeah, it sounds like a very like real story, set in this kind of, with this kind of like, kind of cartoonish style instead. And I think that's probably going to be like the focus of it, is just like learning about their struggles and what it's like being in a band that's trying to, make it big. Maybe they are a big band even too in this world. I don't know. But even as being somebody that's in a band, I don't know. It didn't do it. But we'll see. We'll see.
There is something at least interesting about it, in the fact that there is going to be a new episode every week.
Oh yeah.
Which is quite bold. It does make me wonder though how much choice and like actual interaction you're going to have in the game. Because if they're releasing a new episode every week, it's got to be fairly predictable. Not in terms of like the direction that the story goes, but the end result at the end of every episode, I imagine, no matter what choices you make, if indeed there are choices, it's got to kind of end up the same.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that's going to limit things and make it more like a TV show. Maybe that's what they're going for, but that doesn't really sing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Life is Strange did that sort of like, episodic thing for a while too, when I think it was the first and the second Life is Strange games. And I don't know how well it did for them, but, I hope it works out in the end as well with this game.
Next up, we had a game from Bristol, just down the road from me.
Yeah.
Called Silt. Yeah. And we're talking about art styles a few times in this video, and rightly so. This, for me, was the standout. This art style is just...
incredible.
It's incredibly striking, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not going to be for everyone. I imagine some people will look at it and go, ugh. But, a strong art style is going to divide people like that. And I don't think anyone can deny that this is a strong art style.
And it's hand-drawn. I really like that.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna... I don't know how... proof of the pudding will be in the eating, of course, when it comes to the gameplay. But, it's the art style that grabs you. And sometimes that's enough.
This looks like a game that I could like really enjoy, like Hollow Knight type. Like, I know it's nothing, but that's like the vibe.
I was gonna say,
like,
it's not Silk Song. That didn't happen.
When they said Silt, though, I was like, did he just say Silk?
No. I'm just saying that was like that lonely vibe, hand-drawn style. I don't know. It intrigued me a lot.
Yeah, the art style was really intriguing, and I'm a big fan of like puzzle platformers, kind of like Limbo and Inside, and even Braid from back in the day. And so being able to just play more games in that style is something that I enjoy doing. And this one does look really solid.
It reminded me of that game. Sian, you told me what it was called. You said Alex liked that game. What was it called? Like, it's a game where you like really like this creature, and the whole premise of the game is that you just need to spend time underground.
The Longing?
Yes. I don't know why.
That game's bizarre.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it looks like this, though.
It's just what it reminded me of.
I could see...
I don't know.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, thematically, there's definitely some crossover. Let's move on to Mini Motorways, which is the next game on our list. It is a puzzle-based road designer, and you can have roundabouts, which thrilled me to no end.
See, Felix, I told you that at least something about this game was going to make Alex happy, and that's not a joke.
I mean, the whole game makes me happy.
Good, okay,
that's
look at that.
so fun.
Absolutely, yes. I do enjoy, I like management sims, and I like I like sort of doing something in a game certainly, it's even just like going back to Roller Coaster Tycoon and stuff. I like building paths and watching little things that don't really exist but look like they exist, using them. And that just, this looks like that's going to fulfill that need.
The logo is like the
tremendously.
Google Maps logo. It's like very similar.
Similar, yes. And the best part of this game, it's coming out today.
Whoa.
I'm genuinely going to buy it.
Oh wow!
Next up, we had Wayward Strand, which is this is another narrative-driven game, but it's one that I actually really like the idea of. Basically, it takes place in rural Australia in the 50s or something. I didn't make a note of it. In the past. And you basically just like learn about all these stories that happen in real time, like actual real time. So as one story's taking place and, you know, unfolding, another one is at the same time. And so you got to kind of manage which ones you learn about and stuff. I love the idea of this. I think it looks great. And I like the art style, as seems to be customary to mention in this particular
really
video.
also liked how this game looked. It's like, I love the art style. It's like, it reminds me a bit of a children's book or like a children's show.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And there's just something so comforting about that. And I really like the idea of like different stories happening at the same time, so you have to prioritize. And it also makes for great replayability, which I am a fan of.
I really enjoy the fact that it's in Australia as well. I've got a couple of friends from Australia, actually, so I can do the accent and irritate them.
Oh, yeah, Liam. Liam's from Australia, too, I think.
Liam's from Australia, although I've never heard him speak.
Same.
A
That's
colleague
true.
of ours, just to clear things up
Yeah.
for everyone. He's Australian. He works the night shift on the site.
The last thing I wanted to say about that game, too, is that I really, you know, talking about how the game is actually going to play, I hope it plays like Majora's Mask, where you can kind of turn the game on, the world starts, you know, the time starts, and then that's how you're able to interact with villagers not the villagers, but the people that live on the ship, and you know, as time passes,
It's
then
not.
you
It's
miss
not a
out.
boat.
Is it not? Wait,
It's a hospital.
is it?
No.
Is it-
I thought it was a boat as well, but it's because it's
It's in the sky. They specifically say that.
Oh, right.
Really?
Yeah, I think
It's
a
a hospital
in
in
the
the sky.
sky.
It's a hospital in the sky. That's what's so cool about it.
I'm more
That's not
confused
what's
now
so
than I
cool
was.
about it, Felix. But it's
Yeah.
one of the things.
It's
But you're
the
right.
thing. I definitely think that not gonna follow our time, but it's more like the time in game. So you know, like real
Okay.
time, like all the things like at 12, this character's doing this character's doing that, and you can like go to the different characters. But that's just a Felix theory.
Sure. I hope so, because I don't have time to check in at midnight.
No.
Yes, you do. You're usually up at midnight, if
depends.
not 2 a.m.
But if so, it's usually because I'm just getting done watching Better Call Saul. I almost said Breaking Saul.
Breaking Soul.
So
Oops.
let's move on to the next game, which is Cult of Lamb, which is not Cut of Lamb.
Oh yeah.
You see, it's a pun, and this is I don't have many notes for this. I've got it down as a resource management and then roguelite with a question mark next to it, because I can't be certain. But you're essentially like you play as a lamb that's saved from a sacrifice, essentially, and you have to like build up your own following.
This is wild.
I'm intrigued, but I sort of feel like I didn't get as much from the trailer as I thought
Yeah.
I ought to in order to get a better understanding, but that could have just been me. I was taking notes. Sometimes that means I don't get all the information down.
It reminded me the art style of Don't Starve Together, like just the 2D, 3D.
Yeah, a bit more colourful.
Yeah, of course, a bit more colorful. I'm intrigued also. I didn't get the part that it was like a sacrificed lamb, but that even intrigues me more. So that's great.
Yeah, the game looks really cute. I'm not sure if it's going to be my my particular slice of a game either, but it does. I'm always for something that just looks cute and is doing something weird, and this is absolutely doing that.
How can you argue with that? And then there was only one like major game featured. There were some more which we will maybe discuss. Not that there's much that we can see from them, but another Crab's Treasure, which is a crab-based Souls-like game.
This is
And
insane.
I've got to be honest, I think this looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I genuinely really enjoy it when games don't take themselves too seriously, but not to the point that it just becomes a joke. And I think they're managing to balance that quite well. Obviously, we will have to wait until we get the final game in our hands to know that for certain, but even so,
This game looks stunning.
I think it looks really good, doesn't it?
It is ridiculous how the quality, like the level of detail that's being put into this game, is pretty insane. But there's definitely an audience for these kinds of games. And sure, Elden Ring doesn't have, or I mean, Switch doesn't have Elden Ring, but it's gonna have Crab Ring.
I was about to say Elden Ring doesn't have crabs, but it does.
Yeah,
Does
You just can't play as them.
That's true. So this game is like already better. So nowhere around.
It's already better than Elden Ring. You heard it first.
It's the kind of game that you like joke about in the game making, I don't know, office, and then they just made it.
Yeah, you're like, what if we took Dark Souls and we just made everything crabs?
Oh, that's a good idea, but that'll never happen.
But what if?
They did it. They did it. Look at it. It looks. I genuinely think it is genuine quality. It looks really good.
Yeah.
I really want to play it. I love the animation in particular. It's really smooth. It's got that kind of this sort of exaggerated movements that you get with animation, at least traditional animation. I just think it looks great. I genuinely think it looks fantastic.
Yeah. And I also really like the mechanic of the different like shells. Like that looks like it's gonna be a big part of it.
You gotta play as a hermit crab. I've seen a hermit crab change its shell. Really weird.
I don't like that, but this at least looks cute. At least the crab that you get to play as.
Then we rounded off with Sizzle Reel, didn't we? We got to see some games very briefly.
Yeah.
I wrote them all down.
Ooh.
We had One Shot World Machine Edition, where you play as a cat.
Yeah.
Looks cute.
Any very short thoughts on this? I recognize the cat, but I don't know why.
Same. I can't figure it out.
No.
The internet. It must have come from the internet. Then we had Gibbon Beyond the Trees, which I unironically really like the look of. I think
This looks very similar.
It just looks
to-
simple and fun.
It looks very similar to a game called Arlo on mobile, where you like skate down. It's like this very. You just play it with headphones. And it's very like, what's the name of it? Just very relaxed.
Chill.
Yeah, very chill, very relaxing, and looks very similar. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like the same ones you did it. I'll show you a picture after. Oh, and sorry, it's not called Arlo. It's called Alto. Alto's Adventure.
Sounds top banana.
Thank you.
Then they showed Idle Manager, which I think looks really creepy, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it. Maybe it's just.
Okay. So we went back and we watched the Japanese Direct a little bit, which had some different things in there, and we were surprised to see that was the game that closed off the indie world in Japan. And and I'm surprised, Alex, you really like management sims. I thought this would be right up your alley, but here you are.
I like managing like locations and stuff, but managing people, I don't even like telling people what to do in real life, let alone a game about it. I don't know. It just it doesn't sit well with me. I don't like this one.
It's not a winery, so Alex is out.
It's not a winery. Why would I be interested?
Yeah.
Card Shark, which I swear has been featured before.
I love Card Shark.
I certainly recognize it. Looks all right. It's a card game. Didn't really see enough of it to learn anything.
Well, I looked in the Japanese Direct and we saw a lot more, and again, art style, this looks fantastic, and I just really like card games, so this looks like a game for me.
Then we had Cursed to Golf, which I'd heard of it. I didn't know a lot about it. It looks like really good fun, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It's kind of taking the pocket card jockey approach from the 3DS, where your character apparently dies and is like, I don't know if they're in limbo or if they're trying to, or if they're like in the afterlife, and I think they're basically trying to like fight for their way to live again.
Yeah.
So that like I ended up watching an interview that Rock Paper Shotgun did with the developers.
Then we had a Guidebook of Babel, which I thought was a different game in the Japanese Direct. It just had a different name for some reason. It was called, I think, Butterfly Effect. I have no idea what's going on.
No,
Absolutely none.
me neither.
You get a glimpse of gameplay and then it's over. I mean, which is okay. It's fine, but
Yeah. These like reels they're fine, but you can't really get an impression on that
no.
But you can get an impression of the next one because that runs at 5 frames per second. It's actually incredible.
Opus Echo of Star Song. It runs at a very low frame rate.
Yeah.
The weird thing about that Opus game too is that like it's in the Japanese Direct as well, and they show it has like way more visual novel style elements, and those cutscenes look incredible, and it's even running at a better frame rate. So maybe what we saw in the Japanese Direct Japanese Indie World was maybe not true Switch gameplay, which I do appreciate if that's what we got in the American in the UK trailers. But this game, just like seeing it in the Japanese presentation, impressed me way more than what we saw here. So I'm actually really intrigued by Opus, but yeah, it was a different look. It was very, very interesting how the Japanese presentation really like showed us a lot of the same stuff, but different in a way still. But
yeah,
this is actually the 3rd game in the Opus series.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Never heard of it.
But there we have it. Felix, score out of 10 for this Indie World presentation for you.
I'll say a 5 because there was nothing like, wow, this is like insane, but there was some cool stuff. But it was like, that was sure Indie World for me. Yeah.
Xeon?
I like that you said for you, because I think with these Indie World things, it really is the kind of thing like it's gonna work. Yeah, it's gonna work with you, or it's not gonna. And I feel a lot better scoring it with a 5 as well this time, because just nothing really stuck with me. But I think I'm happy with that because my backlog it's big enough. I don't need more games to think about right now.
Yeah, actually, it's like it's almost like a gift. Oh, finally I have time to actually play the games I have. Not anything more adding to the backlog, so.
Yeah. But what about you, Alex? Where do you sit on this one?
You know what? I'm going to have to give it a 6. It's only just missing out on a 7 for me by the fact that there were too many games that I wasn't interested in. But there are enough games like Another Crab's Treasure. That's a big one for me. Mini Motorways. Silk Comes from Bristol, Gunbrella, there was plenty. There was sort of big highs.
Maybe I'll raise mine to a 6 also because there was some.
Oh no,
there was some good ones.
Oh, I've got to put it up to a 7 then, haven't I? Because I've got to be the top scorer because of Mini Motorways. I want to make.
Okay, I'll give it a 5.9. Then you can keep it at 6.
Hey, we're not doing points over here.
Decimals in this house.
I'll see you guys. Bye.
I am glad you found so much, though.
But there we have it. Those are our thoughts on the Indie World presentation. Recording time is only slightly over double the actual presentation's duration. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you build some tiny little roads around that subscribe button. And be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
Alright, I'm back from my room. What did I miss?
Giant Enemy Crab, the game.